So he asked me how I'm coping, and I asked him if he noticed. I said, listen boy, I'm focused. I said, me I drink pine and ginger, and my me for wine pan thing, I'm gonna play that. Me I drink pine and ginger, and my me for wine pan thing, I'm gonna play that. And mouth the rum and all the sorrow, and mouth you drink away my sorrow. Guess I'm not care about tomorrow. I guess I'm not care about tomorrow. Me I drink pine and ginger, and my me for wine pan thing, I'm gonna play that. And I drink pine and ginger, and my me for wine pan thing, I'm gonna play that. And mouth the rum and all the sorrow. Guess I'm not drink away my sorrow. I guess I'm not care about tomorrow. I guess I'm not care about tomorrow.
She have the pine with the ginger, spliff like time, girl I get injured. Miss right wine never you linger. Move quick like Jackie Chan ninja. When me in ya, me tell her fi wine panny, wine panny, wine panny thing. Climb for the, climb for the, climb for the king. But I know me I sing me a pray she no move from my drink. She a say
pine and ginger, and want me for wine panny thing, I'm gonna play that. Me I drink pine and ginger, and want me for wine panny thing, I'm gonna play that. And mouth the rum and all the sorrow. Guess I'm not drink away my sorrow. I guess I'm not care about tomorrow. I guess I'm not care about tomorrow. And mouth the button out of leave.
have the body not the
Mouth the button out of leave. And mouth the button out of leave. Put the fire to the split, smoke away for release. And mouth the button out of leave. And mouth the button out of leave. And mouth the button out of leave. Put the fire to the split, smoke away for release. Me I drink pine and ginger, and want me for wine pan thing, I'm gonna play that. Me I drink pine and ginger, and want me for wine pan thing, I'm gonna play that. And mouth the rum and all the sorrow. Guess I'm not drink away my sorrow. I guess I'm not care about tomorrow. I guess I'm not care about tomorrow.
She a say pine and ginger. Me tell her fi wine pan the thing, but she no play that. She a say pine and ginger. Me tell her fi wine pan the thing, but she no play that. She have the rum inna the sorrow. She tell me I drink away my sorrows. She say me no care about tomorrow. I guess me no care about tomorrow.
Guess I'm not care about tomorrow. Everybody's coping, while they're drinking, while they're smoking, while they're writing out a song, penning paper to the open. I said everybody's coping, while they're drinking, while they're smoking, while they're writing down a song, penning the paper to the open. I said everybody's coping, while they're drinking, while they're smoking, while they're writing down a song, pen and paper to the open. Me I drink pine and ginger.
my story of love and death. I fell deep in love with a Mama, a girl of my dreams. You see what I mean? On our wedding day, she gave me a kiss with tears in her eyes. It was a kiss of death. Love and death walk hand in hand. The way to thy grave is just the same. Love and death, they walk hand in hand. The way to thy grave is just the same.
Yo traigo para ti algo excitante, mi jarabe te levanta de la tumba, es un jaleo pa' que siempre estés adelante, un poquito de sazón y rumba, es un pasito que te voy a enseñar, un menedito que sé que te gustará, y cuando aprendas a bailarlo con sabor, te aseguro que este ritmo gozarás. Se baila así, se goza más. 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 Se baila así, ay qué ritmo sabroso. Se goza más, este ritmo yo lo gozo. Se baila así, tú quieres guarachar. Se goza más, oye, ponte a bailar. Se baila así, el ritmo de Puerto Rico. Se goza más, es el que me gusta más. Se baila así, oye, de aquí para allá. Se goza más, de allá para acá. Se puede vacilar, es que mi swing es tropical. Y que se puede vacilar, es que mi swing es tropical. Y que se puede vacilar, es que mi swing es tropical. Y que se puede vacilar, es que mi swing es tropical.
Check my check 1, 2.
Chicago storefront team ready to initiate gala launch.
Copy that.
This is Strong Roots New Growth Root Ball 2021.
Open MA is ready to go.
Silent auction team bidding prep complete.
Launch team is ready to proceed.
Guidance is internal. All engines running. Initiating liftoff procedure. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. We have liftoff, a Red Orchid Ball Gala.
Welcome to A Red Orchid at 28. Nothing like having something taken away to make us recognize just how much we need it. Live theater is the greatest sustenance for the human spirit, perhaps even the greatest sustenance for our communities and our collective spirit. It is with this belief that we create. Theater has the potential to wake us up, pulling us up out of our seats, giving us a good shake and plopping us back down to reflect on something or take some action. At its best, theater is an agent of connection, of discovery, and of change. We need this. Our communities, our world needs this. For 28 years at A Red Orchid Theater, we have been celebrating the human spirit by interrogating the ways in which that spirit thrives or is stifled, even damaged. Whether we are digging into the ravages of trauma in Grey House, the damages of war in Blasted, the horror and even hilarity of narcissism in Abigail's Party, or the healing power of community and quiet of small mouth sounds. These interrogations, these celebrations are more important than ever. I am simultaneously terrified and elated and comforted walking through this door, up that ramp, and into the unknown every time. I am humbled and honored to play here with you, for you, reinforcing my belief that making and participating in live theater, whether as artist, technician, staff, board member, or patron, is truly a radical act of empathy and also of optimism. Thank you for investing in this action. Thank you for your commitment to joining us here in the future.
It's the Orchid Shopping Network with Dan and Tracy.
You know, Dan and I are so honored, moved and inspired to host the 30th annual Find a Cure, Save a Life benefit. Every one of these needy kids is going to have
Tracy,
the opportunity to take
Tracy,
everything. Yes.
That was last night. We're hosting the Storefront Theater tonight.
Oh, okay, goody. Tonight is the Red Orchid Fiesta, is that it?
Indeed it is.
Okay.
Indeed it is. Strange Roots, New Growth. I think that's it.
I think it's home growth.
Oh.
Yeah. Strange Roots.
Okay, Strange Roots, Home Growth is the magical theme for tonight. And these artistes have a silent auction that demands some noise. Whoa. Oh, hey, we are already seeing some great bids coming in.
Did you see them do Seussical last year? Made me tingly in all the right places, you know.
I think I was in Antigua.
Oh, is that how you keep the permatan down?
What was that?
I said, joy to the world. We have our first bidder on the adult version of the baby shark costume. Wow. Thank you, No Outbid 697, for your ambitious $800 raise after the starting bid of a measly $200. I'm no soothsayer, but methinks no one is going to outrun you on that.
What was that?
Dan, everything okay? Dan.
What?
I
Oh.
thought we agreed no screens on screen, Poodle. Come on.
Oh, no, it's all good, all good. Just, hey, I'm confirming my takeout order for Kamahachi in Old Town, Chicago's first and best sushi restaurant for over 40 years, and a contributor of a priceless bottle of sake and a $200 gift certificate.
Beautiful.
Japanese victuals and the tradition of yum. Kamahachi.
Is that their slogan?
No, but it's my mantra.
Oh, okay. Okay, because it looks like when you were clicking for your dragon roll, somebody by the name of Not On Your Life 321 outbid at $1,000 on those baby shark onesies. A fashion item that I myself would be desperate to have, but would never pursue, because as host of the Red Orchids Shopping Silent Auction Network for this evening, we both signed legal waivers, which included a strict no hosty, no biddy clause. Remember, Dan?
Well, now seems like the perfect moment for Tracy and myself to hit pause on the witty banter button and for you at home to hit go on your silent auction button.
And Dan, after a day of having all your buttons pressed, wouldn't goodies procured from a MERS apothecary gift certificate be the way to unwind with some self-care? Baths, salts, soaps, they have it all, friends. They have it all.
Oh, you vex me. But wait, before you hop into that relaxing tub, wouldn't a stunning portrait of JFK by artist Mariam Perret be the perfect addition to your at-home gallery?
Yes, sounds sublime. Dan, but one question. Is this before or after the virtual cooking lesson by Master Chef Dominique of Lincoln Park's classic Jules Chez Moi restaurant and recently opened French Quiche Bakery?
Oh, you vex me, Tracy. With all of these tantalizing auction items, I think it's time for all of us to make a bid that no one, and I mean no one, could stand a chance of securing tonight.
Yeah. I noticed you said all of us, Dan. Remember, we're hosting this auction, not competing in it. Dan. Save the cats, people, and bid now.
Brave,
tenacious,
boundary pushing,
it's mind-blowing,
hard-hitting,
intimate,
ring of fire.
It's exactly what you want with intimate theater.
The bravest, fiercest, most amazing place in Chicago.
Abigail's Party, thank you.
In the solitude of cotton fields.
The small mouth sounds.
Born Guilty. The fastest clock in the universe.
Great House.
My favorite show I ever saw there was the one where you're shoving the tomatoes.
Victims of Duty. Victims of Duty.
There is truly nowhere to hide in this room. And that's part of the fun. You experience that as an actor. You experience that as an audience member. I have from both sides of that. Our designers experience it. And it helps us. It is part of why we pursue this honesty so rigorously.
And nothing to shield you. You don't have anything to hide from. I had plenty of stuff to hide behind on that set. And that is safe. And I don't like safe. I don't want safety. I don't go to the theater to be safe. I really, but that's me. That's my preference. Some people want that. I don't want safety. As an audience member or as a performer, I don't want that.
But what's so great about what I remember about doing plays at Red Orchid is that space itself is intimate. You can almost see a close-up in that space. And you're in, everyone is there together. And sometimes audiences don't like that. And sometimes it's claustrophobic. but when it works, it's really powerful.
Because the audience is right there and we're like, we're coming, let's go. And you're gonna have to move your feet as we cross by you. The AC current is always in the space and it makes the room really alive.
And one thing too, touching back on this audience knowing Red Orchid and being comfortable with Red Orchid. We don't have to pull punches with this house.
In general, it's just I knew every time I was going to go see a show at Red Orchid, it was going to be 100% human, no matter what was happening on stage or what kind of creature or performances were on there. There was a humanity to everything, and there's a visceral reality to it.
I knew very little about the Red Orchid Theater Company before I walked in, other than being familiar with some of its more prestigious alumnists. But when I walked in, I was immediately taken by the space. I was taken by the vibe. I was taken by everything about the show.
And even at, the big theater companies in Chicago, which I have a lot of respect for, sometimes I would go see a play and I was like, why are they doing this play? Why am I sitting here in the theater? What the fuck is this play about? I'm not interested in seeing these actors showing off.
Anywhere, you can go get your intellectual rocks off somewhere in Chicago, get your emotional rocks off. Where can you get both? How dare you have faith in us that we are intelligent enough to handle that?
Like what questions humans tend to avoid, and then kind of start digging as to why, and putting the characters in those positions where they're forced to face those questions in some capacity.
What I want for our future is to be able to welcome new artists into that, to be able to welcome new theater goers, to be able to walk down the street and say a Red Orchid and have someone go, oh yes, I know what that theater is, and I know what aesthetic that theater has.
We all bring what we've done outside of the theater into the theater, and we're able to build on that and use it.
It all started out with one person, and then two, and then three, and four, and now it's grown into this wonderful ensemble of artists who need that support, who really need the support of the community and the like. So yeah, that's my hope for the theater is that grows more than anything.
I want my world to be rock.
You can't get it anywhere else.
Total money for here and total money for all up in here for me. I love a Red Orchid because that is what you do.
America was built by bailing out winners.
I know more than you. Now let me just make sure I've got this straight.
Yeah.
Are we on the Golden Globes right now?
This is the Golden Globes, the 127th annual Golden Globe Award. And right now they're presenting the best award for best dramatic performance in a comedy or musical.
The reason I didn't realize initially that I'd be on the Globes with you, but then when I saw that it's all white people, I think this must be the Globes.
Oh, God.
Middle-aged white guys.
They should call them the Porcelain Globes, right? Or the porcelain something.
I mean, you and I for a couple decades have been known as the Amy and Tina of Chicago storefront theater. I often wished that somehow I was also a member of a Red Orchid theater because the stuff was so good. But the only time I was able to take part in a show, because I was involved with my own kick-ass company, the Defiant Theater, was when three of us did a late night show called The Questioning of Nick by Arthur Coppett, a 20-minute play, a three-hander that we did 3 times in a row, and each time we switched parts. So the audience saw all 3 of us play all 3 parts.
Now, when we asked you to do this, what was your initial reaction?
Well, like I said, I held you guys in high esteem. I was quite touched and moved because I really looked up to you guys and still do. So that was really fun.
It sure was fun. I mean, you hear a lot about cast swapping, roles from night to night, but you don't get to see it like usually back to back to back like that.
When the audience can actually see the three different approaches right in a row, it's a study in acting technique and in staging, and people ate it up. They were crazy about it.
Yeah, and it's, I think, to the point of perhaps why we're both here tonight, a testament to that little room in which it took place,
I just want to illustrate a detail from that show.
Sure.
For anybody who's tuning in, can I just ask you to hold your hands up like you're about to palm a basketball? Show us your hands, and then now look at my hand. Look at the size of my hand. Now, when Mike, there was an iteration of the show where Mike was the school principal, and he was sort of a disciplinarian, and I was playing this high school senior who allegedly had thrown a basketball game for gamblers. And there was a moment where Mike would take those dinner plate hands and wrap them around my head and just speak to me very sternly. And to this day, I mean, that was, God, sneaking up on 25, 30 years ago. To this day, that's one of the most wonderful moments I ever had on stage, because this guy who could take my pumpkin and snap it off of its vine made me feel so comfortable, while at the same time probably just terrifying the audience. And I'll never forget it. I'm very grateful I got to do that.
What else have we done together, Nick, besides the questioning of Nick? What is the extent of our collaboration? Well, I think we're leaving something out.
I think the last time I saw you, if I'm not mistaken, was when you generously came to Chicago and took part in a music video that I was directing for Jeff Tweedy of the band Wilco.
That's right.
You are so goddamn funny. You play this henchman to John Hodgman in this strange sort of sci-fi world in which the Tweedies are trying to sell records door to door.
Theater, it's just such it's like a sandbox, and you can come and you can be comfortable and you can play and it's so hard to find places like that. Most everything is so commerce driven, and it's just so nice to find a place that's really just about imagination and empathy and sharing. Can you imagine like a version of your life without that part of it?
Absolutely not. The thing about Chicago storefront theater specifically is like nowhere else in the country. You have there's an audience that will come to see you and support you, saying, I have a weird idea. What if we do this 20-minute play 3 times in a row? Or what if what if we do this or that? And I got to Chicago, Defiant Theater got there. We met like our little companies, Straw Dog and Mary Archie. We're all doing stuff and mixing and matching. And because of that, because of the spirit of experimentation, about a year into Chicago, it finally clicked. It finally clicked where I was like, oh, I finally can begin. And no, it couldn't have happened anywhere else, only because Chicago has that incredible sandbox atmosphere.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell people if it wasn't for, non-equity theater in Chicago, and Red Orchid finally, thank God, is an equity house, but for a long time was non-equity. If it wasn't for non-equity theater, I'd probably be like, I don't know, working at a grocery store or something. I mean, or maybe even homeless. I don't know. I mean, it was a safe harbor. It was just a place where I could go and get some of this energy and thought and expression that was inside of me, and get it out.
you and I think, come up in conversations sometimes together when people are looking for someone interesting or, dare I say, terrifying. And I remember. I mean, I remember meeting you. You might not have been 20 yet, and we were both. I think I'm maybe 4 years older than you. We were both young in our early 20s, and troubled in different ways, but sort of trying to find our path. And I think we saw each other. What we didn't lack, the one thing that wasn't a question mark, was our passion and our work ethic, and I think we were both blessed with stamina. So we were able to live like jackasses to a certain extent, but never miss a call time. What values were instilled in you, in that age that you still draw upon?
Well, I think you're right. A lot of it goes to the work ethic. I mean, we talk about at Red Orchid a lot about being rigorous in our examination of what we're doing. And when it comes to script, when it comes to presentation, a lot of times I'll find myself at work on a movie or a TV or a thing, and people will be impressed by a way that I approach a problem or try and break down a scene or whatever. And I say, well, I don't say it, but I think, that's not me. That's what anybody from Red Orchid, that's how anybody from Red Orchid would do it.
Whether we're doing a big movie or a little piece of theater, we're all there making this piece of art together. We're all there trying to, create some sort of medicine for people. Yes, I'm the one with the potato face who has to communicate the emotion. But if your dolly thing, if you focus, if the camera's not in focus, it doesn't matter what I do. Like we're all just as important. And so that sense of collaboration is what I think of the most.
We can't let people stop acknowledging the importance of artistic endeavors, and no matter what the circumstances are.
I'm going to throw some bread in the kitty and here's exactly why. I saw the way that the seeds of experimentation in that wonderful black box space have turned into magnificent artworks across the genres around the world. Anybody whose business involves getting a bunch of people together in a room to sit in an audience, anybody who can help support these businesses, we're all going to need them very much as soon as we can get the doors open again.
Being uncomfortable can be a good thing.
I'd sign up for that.
And we are back on the Orchid Shopping Network. And yes, I did pronounce it correctly. And yes, I know what day it is. I apologize to A-Rot Life subscriber 861 for the unfortunate error. Thank you for the nastygram and message received. In case you think I didn't do my homework, I am happy to tell you that this 41-member ensemble founded in a church basement in Highland Park in 1974 with a young Malkovich has earned its presence in Lincoln Park on a national and international level. Your contributions and participation in the silent auction tonight ensure a future for the most dynamic dance company in Pittsburgh. So, if you would like...
Oh, hello, Tracy. The producers dispatched me to the silent auction warehouse on an emergency mission.
The warehouse? You mean where all our silent auction treasures are hidden safely away from our beloved patrons, but accessibly yours by clicking on the magical links surrounding my gorgeous face?
Cut the rebop, Blanche. According to our loss prevention unit, there are several items missing from our shelves since we began the broadcast. I mean, I wasn't expecting to see anything material for the ghost dinner with theater legends of yore, a $700 value worth your while and available now. But that Beauty Essentials package with the Make My Face cream is absolutely MIA. The baby shark costumes have swum upstream and are nowhere to be seen. I mean, I haven't seen a crisis like this since they canceled My Mother the Car. Inquiring minds want to know, Tracy, have you any thoughts or concerns about the missing booty?
What? Well, if you want to talk about my booty live on air, Dan, I am happy to file a workplace sexual harassment case before you can spell theater with an R on the end.
Put your scarlet letter away, Hester. Your petty theft will not silence me. We have items in absentia. Sinner, let me be clear. Missing merch will not be tolerated at OSN. Don't you think?
Missing merch? Missing merch? Missing merch. You know what the Wall Street value is on the dwindling returns of charisma, charm, and talent? Your it factor rating? 0. Zilch. Not a pal. I mean, you couldn't sell a fake 5-carat gold necklace to a desperate housewife if your life depended on it. I clawed my way from the bowels of mall retail to the hallowed halls of this studio, from Cinnabon at 16 to Forever 21 at 38. What? No, I made mommy's borrowed Visa card my little bitch. I was hustling quality, value, and convenience with no commission when you were trying to understand why the customer is always right. You know who closed with the big enchilada of buku butts on the graveyard shift? I will give you a hint. Not Dan! I will be there with my diamond-studded charm tiara firmly affixed to my hair plugs to save the day with sincerity. We can't do it without you folks. Bidding is open for another 12 months. Passion. Don't sit at home empty-handed when you can help yourself and support the children's home. And dignity. I will stick a fork in my eye if you leave this gala without bidding.
All right, Tracy. With that, I shed this mortal coil of shame-infested servitude to a network founded on despicable greed and monotonous, conspicuous consumption. Good riddance, fair maiden.
I'm gonna harden my heart. I'm gonna swallow my tears. I'm gonna turn and leave you. I'm gonna do it on my own.
left to left. Right. Yo!
Yo!
How's it going? Woo! Isn't this great? There's so many people here.
Crazy.
I think it's okay.
Uh-huh.
I went to a magician the other day, and there's a part where he puts a knife in a paper bag and you're supposed to slam it down. But he was distracted and my hand went through the knife.
That's crazy.
Straight through. Crazy. 14 stitches.
Wild.
Remember when we couldn't do galas in person?
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
I binge watched 10 hours of Grace Under Fire. She was always under fire. I'm so glad we can do stuff in person. In person. Do you like plays?
Love them.
I'm a subscriber.
How's that even possible?
You have to be the coolest person ever. I set my ringtone as a crying baby, as a joke, and I can't get it to stop. I haven't slept in like a week. I'm so tired.
Crazy.
Hey, when was the last time you donated to a good cause?
Very recently.
What? Me too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I give a lot. Is it loud in here? Can you even hear what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. You said you got drunk the other day and did all your taxes.
Oh, good. I thought you couldn't hear me through all this noise.
Turns out I'm definitely allergic to coffee and all dairy.
Touche. Touche. I tried a at-home dentistry kit, and I broke like 3 teeth. I don't know how I did it, but it ended up costing me so much more money than if I had just gone to the dentist. I'm going on a date with that magician, though. I'm really excited.
What?
Hi there. My name's John Ty, and I am a magician. Some of you may know me as the performer and co-creator of Misconnections, a virtual play with magic that was presented by Red Orchid Theater in the month of February. My time at a Red Orchid has been, without hyperbole, one of the most wonderful artistic experiences of my life, and one of the most hopeful. In a time when we all suddenly found ourselves staring into a vast unknown, when it has been so easy to let our fears close us off from the rest of the world, Kirsten and Abby and the folks at a Red Orchid, they did the opposite. They leaned in and took a leap headfirst into that unknown. And I'm so grateful that they did. And I'm so excited to say that our story doesn't end here. That for those of you who haven't seen the show, you'll have another chance to catch it soon. And this has just been the beginnings of a seed that we've planted and now get to watch grow together. For those of you who have seen the show, this is actually the coffee shop that I was telling you about. This is the Pear and the Pickle Cafe. And here, come on. I want to introduce you to someone who I actually met at this very spot. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, John.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Very well. Thanks for coming out here.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I was just telling the folks at home how we met about the Pear and Pickle. Do you remember how it went down?
Oh, yeah. Just, sitting having my usual cup of coffee, and I looked over, and you have this sign out that says magic, mysticism, mind reading, all on demand. I couldn't help but check it out.
Yeah. So Kelsey actually, I was sitting in the shop when I first started, and she kind of took a leap, said hello to a random stranger. We shared a bit of magic and mystery, and we've been friends ever since. And Kelsey, besides Misconnections, have you ever seen any other productions at a Red Orchid Theater?
I haven't, but this whole thing has me so excited to check it out the next time I'm in Chicago.
Yeah, same here. And that's kind of the amazing thing. Performing Misconnections at a Red Orchid Theater, it ended up facilitating these connections between people from all around the globe. I mean, we had people joining the show from Chicago to New York, from Los Angeles to Anchorage. We had people in London and Dublin and Madrid and right here in Pittsburgh. And many of these audience members had never even set foot in 1531 Wells Street in Chicago. And, in many ways, these times have kind of cut us off from the rest of the world. But what's really wild to think about is how this invisible web of threads now exists, connecting people from all around the world to a Red Orchid Theater and vice versa. And Kelsey, I mean, you're kind of part of that web of threads as well now.
I am.
Thank you, a Red Orchid Theater, for being a part of our good universe and for everything that you do. Cheers.
Orange hornet, white truck, gray rabbit, orange hornet, orange hornet, white truck, gray rabbit, orange hornet, you know that it's late, you know that you don't, no one really wants to, no one really wants to. orange hornet. You know white truck, gray rabbit, orange hornet. You know.
Tracy's Treasures Network, where serenity meets sales. Starring Tracy Wholesale.
You're my idol. I love you so much. I've learned so much from you. When I caught my husband with that flight attendant, I taught him how to fly the friendly skies. Emergency exit for you, baby. And you did it. You washed that Dan right out of your hair.
You know, it just feels right, sweetie. All of it. Solo mio, you know, it just feels right. Now back to you, caller. Are you loving your Tracy's Treasures Network easy pay plan for the cast iron skillet set?
Affirmative. Shut up, dog. I am spending and saving. It means we still have money for our subscription to that darling theater in Old Town.
Oh, wait, stop. Stop the clock and hold the phone, caller. Are you talking about that Blue Orchid?
Sounds vaguely familiar, but I think it's, I know it was unusual on the tongue. I think it's called,
Red Orchid Theater.
Dan?
A dynamic theater in the heart of Old Town for over 28 years. A Red Orchid is an ensemble of artists dedicated to the proliferation of live theater in the modern world. They believe that theater is the greatest sustenance for the human spirit and approach their work with a palpable sense of social compassion, aesthetic rigor, and honesty. By presenting new plays from all over the world and by reviving insightful works from the past that bear new relevance today, the theater aims to seek out and build new audiences for the modern stage. We can't do it without you, folks. Don't let that silent auction drown in silence. Don't let that live donate now link live in jeopardy any longer. Thank you.
Dan, where are your cue cards?
My dear lady, did you forget who I am and the contents of which I am made? Lest you forget the great campaigns of yesteryear that we pioneered.
Oh, the multifunction bread maker pitch of 2017.
Only to be eclipsed by fall of 2019's relentless 6-hour infomercial, No Slippin', Please.
The only wax product guaranteed to keep your glasses where they belong so wearers don't get
Faced out.
Oh, I'm sorry about my Cruella de Vil solo tour. I really am. You complete me, Dan. Come back, please. Will you come back?
Of course I'll come back. In fact, I never left.
Oh, was that you hiding behind the Ninja 4-quart air fryer display?
I think you mean the $200 value grab, available only till midnight tonight. But my talent can be hidden no longer, dear girl. Snap!
And yes, we're back, and not a moment too soon, as the silent auction is closing in minutes. Precious time for precious products.
You remember what they taught us at QVCU?
Follow your id
and make the bid.
Providing sustenance for the hungry and homeless doesn't happen on its own, folks. Dan, are we still on? Can you cut? Are we cutting? Dan! I'm just tired of this shit, man. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, hello. It is me, Travis Knight. I am a member of the Artistic Ensemble, and I recently won the title of Associate Artistic Director after I defeated Shade Murray in a Greco-Roman wrestling match. I'm also a longtime fan of A Red Orchid. Now, I just wanted to start by acknowledging the fact that there is so much streaming content out there, and the fact that you have chosen to spend your evening here with us, supporting A Red Orchid, supporting our artistry, supporting the Chicago theater community. It's not lost on us how fortunate we are and how fortunate we have been in the last year in particular, so thank you. Now, several of you have heard me talk about this before, and I feel like I've talked about it quite a bit because this moment was so defining for me. It was burned into my being. One of the first shows that I saw when I moved to Chicago was The Aliens here at Red Orchid. And Steve Haggard and I have been friends for a really long time, and he got me a ticket to see the show. And I remember nearly every moment, from walking in the doors on Wells to standing in line, getting my program, and then entering the theater and taking my seat in the second row, house left, to the moment where I sat in stunned silence when the lights came up and the show was done, because I had just witnessed the very thing that artists and actors in particular are always striving for. And what I'm talking about is a genuine, almost unsettling honesty. You know, where that line between theatricality and reality is so blurred, it's like you have been invited in to an intimate look at somebody else's life and their experience. And I knew in that moment that that was the kind of work that I always wanted to strive for. And I was a little envious of my pal Steve Haggard that he got to tell stories like that in the theater. And here we are, 8 years later, a proud member of this ensemble and an artistic leader. And it's with this group of people, my fellow Orchids and you at home, that I look so forward to reopening our doors. Now, last summer, the world watched as the fight for racial equity erupted into the forefront of conversation. And it's important to note that movement, it didn't start last summer. That fight for equity and inclusion has been going on for decades, if not centuries, being held up and worked on tirelessly by people who are out there trying to make this world better. And I believe that artists have a unique opportunity to affect actual change through storytelling and artistry. Now just take a look at the We See You White American Theater Collective. A group of artists came together with a list of demands, actionable changes based on empirical evidence gained through lived experience so that the national theater community could heal and move forward in a positive way. And we're seeing that happen across the board. Now, this work, there is a joy and an excitement in it. There's a joy and excitement in new growth, and we are committed to deepening our cultural competency so that we can fortify and elevate a space for marginalized voices. Because at a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, what do you become when you invest in yourself, when you invest in your community, in new communities, when you give people a reason to come in and share their stories and their worldview, which might be a little different than your own? And we have nearly 30 years of theatrical expertise and a social responsibility to support artists from all walks of life, to elevate those voices using the skills that we are known for: rigor, intimacy, honesty, social compassion, to be a pillar in this community, to give everyone a place where they can have a defining moment like I did on my first evening sitting in that theater at A Red Orchid. So, thank you so much for your generosity, financial and otherwise. And I look forward to seeing you here in the theater, or Kamahachi, or at the Old Town Ale House sometime in the near future. Have a great night.
Hello, I'm Abigail Madden, the Managing Director of Red Orchid Theater, and these are our administrative offices of our theater, which for those of you who don't know, are located right upstairs from our theater space, right in the heart of Old Town. And while the theater and our offices are currently closed, Our ensemble, board, and staff have been busier than ever over this past year. And with all that hard work being done, it's time to thank some people. So here we go. Thank you to our gala committee, who worked tirelessly over the last few months to bring this event to you in a new form. Special thanks to this year's Root Ball co-chairs, Georgia Casciato and Robin Breslin, and our development director, Dana Treglia, for leading these efforts. Thanks to our ensemble, board, and associate board for all of their help and support with this event and beyond. Thanks to the artists who appeared in tonight's program, and special thanks to our sponsors, volunteers, and everyone who donated items for our auction and raffles. We couldn't have made this happen without you. And lastly, thanks to all of you. Thank you for your willingness to go on a journey with us wherever it takes us. Thank you for your continued support, especially over the past year. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We can't wait to see you again.
Orange hornet, you know.